Welcome back to Too Late My Ass, the reinvention podcast for those of you who are done behaving, done shrinking, and maybe done playing supporting roles in your own damn life. I'm Fay Chapple, and today we're talking about something that every brilliant, exhausted person knows. They know it in their bones. It's simple. You've outgrown your old life, but you're still auditioning for it, right? Because today is a retirement party of sorts, right? It's the version of you who kept everyone else comfortable while quietly suffocating your own potential. This episode is, I'd like to say, raw. It's still science and it's still truth, but it's really a mirror. And if you let it land, then this will be the moment that your second act begins. So let's get into it. Ever feel like life passed you by while you were being responsible? Like everyone else got a head start on success, on happiness or purpose, and now you're just trying not to fall asleep during your own life. Well, welcome to Too Late My Ass. This is the podcast for anyone who's ever thought it was too late. Too late to dream again, to build again, or begin again. So spoiler alert, it's not. I'm Fay Chapple, and I'm here to help you burn the rule book, rewrite the script, and become the main character in your next chapter. So whether you're 39, 49, 59, or 79, this isn't about getting your groove back. It's about finally giving yourself permission to freaking exist exactly as you are. So hit subscribe, tell that inner critic to take several seats, and let's make this your comeback era, because too late, my ass. Let me start with a sentence that you might not love. This year didn't break you. It revealed that your identity had simply expired. You're not tired because life is hard. You're probably tired because you're dragging around a version of yourself that you no longer are. But you are performing like you're trying to win an award in that lifestyle. I like to call it like the identity drag, right? Because it feels like irritation. You get irritated at small things, right? Is that you? Because I know it's me. You might get boredom, a lot of boredom inside a life that really should feel good by now, right? And maybe you have resentment and that really leaks out all around the edges, right? And then you might have that quiet craving to burn your calendar to the ground because you're just so sick of Groundhog Day, of doing everything over and over again. And maybe sometimes you might cry in your car. I know I have, because you pretend you're fine, right? And then 2 minutes later, you're just a puddle. It happens to a lot of us. And this identity drag is your future self banging on the door and yelling, "Can we please stop living like this?" Right? So this episode is for everyone that secretly whispers, "I do not want this to be the version of me anymore." Let's say that again. I don't want to be this version of me anymore, right? I used to teach a lot of people about where to start because everyone was talking a lot about purpose, right? And I used to say, rather than thinking of, who you want to be, what about an easier way to say it is, who am I not willing to be anymore? Because that's a lot easier to answer, right? So if you agree with me, then let's talk about it, right? And let's retire that person, okay? Let's talk a little bit about your brain, that beautiful, brilliant, pain in the ass machine that runs your life. Because here's the truth. Your brain doesn't care if you're happy. Nope. And your brain really cares if you're predictable. That's what your brain cares about. Are you predictable? Why? Because predictability equals safety, and safety equals survival. So survival equals let's keep doing what we've always done forever, and then we feel good. So if for years you've been the responsible one, right? Maybe you're the answer person, the fixer, the one who absorbs everyone else's stress, right? The person that no one checks on because, oh no, she's fine, don't worry about her. Or the achiever who doesn't complain, right? Or how about the peacekeeper who really smooths the edges for everyone else? That was me. I think it still is a lot of the time. So your brain wires around that identity, right? It actually rewards you for staying exactly the same. Dopamine for being helpful, essentially, right? Belonging for being agreeable. Predictability for not disrupting the system that you're in. Or maybe it's just safety for choosing the familiar over the truth, right? Over the true way of being able to move forward. So when you start thinking, I want something different, our brain launches a full panic attack, right? Oh God, change is dangerous. Becoming visible is dangerous. Taking up space is dangerous. Let's just stay exhausted, but really consistent. This is why you feel resistance, not because the desire is wrong. It's because your nervous system has not caught up to your evolution, right? You are not scared of change, right? You're not scared of it. You're scared of losing the identity that once protected you. Here's the twist. Your old identity is now the thing that is holding you back. This is where burnout comes in, right? If you've listened to Too Late My Ass for the last couple of months, you are starting to get this message. And if you're here and you're coming back today, it's because you recognize you need that message reinforced over and over again so that you can start anew. So burnout isn't about workload, remember? We talked about this many times. Burnout is about identity misalignment. So you are performing a version of yourself that your soul is really actively trying to retire, right? It's like, I don't want to do this anymore. So of course you're tired. You're acting in a role that your body stopped believing in years and years ago. So what is that role that you're still performing? Let's name her or him. That version of you that everyone knows, right? The one that people expect, the one that works, right? So here's the problem. She or he works for them, not for you. Oh, that's a really scary thing to think about, right? Maybe she's the caregiver or the hyper competent one, right? Or maybe the quiet executive or the fixer, or Stacy's our producer. Maybe she's the producer. Maybe it's the overfunctioner or the person that doesn't rock the boat ever, right? Or the strong one who never needs anything, never needs help. Or maybe it's just the background character in your own story. So everyone today who's listening to me right now, you know you have one. And here's the part that we don't say out loud. We are loyal to her, right? Even though she's slowly draining our life force because she kept us safe. She earned our reputation. She got us through all those years of hard work. But she's done her job. So let her retire. And so are you, right? It is time. This is your rebrand moment. We've been working really hard for the last couple of months to understand what we need to do in order to go forward. And I've been prepping you because January is an exciting time to completely start again. So listen carefully. This is all leading up to an exciting new year ahead, okay? So that rebrand moment, well, every reinvention begins with a reckoning. Do you like that? I love that word, reckoning. It sounds kind of scary. But who do I refuse to keep being? Remember what I said before? Who am I not willing to be anymore? That was a very, very strong tagline that I use with every single one of my clients. Not what do I want next year, but instead, What identity am I done performing? Okay, so who do I not want to be anymore? And I want you to say this sentence out loud if you can. I'm going to retire the version of me who is X. Think about it. What can you say? I am retiring the version of me who is always the answer person. I am retiring the version of me who thinks they can't do anything new. I'm retiring the version of me who believes their only expertise is what I've done for the last 30 years. The moment you name it, the spell breaks. So think about it. Who you're not willing to be anymore. Who do you want to put to bed? Who do you want to get rid of and start anew? If you always were the corporate executive, maybe that's the person you want to retire if you've not already. Here's the catch. You may have retired as a corporate executive, but you didn't retire that persona. So that's why you're unsure of what to do. But remember, the moment you name it, the spell breaks. So you stop being loyal to a role that you truly outgrew, that you were done with. You did your time, leave it alone, right? And stop bending yourself into shapes that make you unrecognizable, right? You stop auditioning for a life that's no longer yours. This is the first step of your rebrand. When you actually accept what we just talked about, that's when you're ready to start. So we've been working hard, as I said, to get to the point where you say, I'm good. I'm ready to retire that person. I'm going to start from scratch, even if I don't know what that is. So let's drop that framework into the TLMA identity reinvention model, okay? And there are really 5 stages. One is awareness, right? Remember, we've been working through all these. You realize you're miserable in ways you can't explain. Your life actually looks fine, right? It looks great. For everybody else looking in, you look fine, but you feel nothing, which is almost worse, right? This is the moment that your identity expires, right? You have to be aware that you don't feel anything anymore. It isn't retirement or changing careers isn't what they showed you in the movies. So you got awareness. That's number 1. Number 2 is we move into disruption, right? So your brain fights you. You have your habits. You're clinging to your old habits. Your old identity panics, right? Your nervous system kind of freaks out, and you confuse this with failure, but it's not. It's just outdated wiring, right? So you have awareness, and then there's disruption because you're like, oh no, your body, your mind everything's saying what's going on. So you move into 3, which is really experimentation, right? This is where your rebrand for your life, it's not necessarily for your business, where it actually happens. So one tiny uncomfortable behavior at a time. At TLMA, we're all about tiny little steps, right, that lead to bigger change. So a tiny step, your experimentation could be saying no. It's a simple one. Maybe once during this week, you'll say no. And for a lot of us, we never say no. So it's a good start. 2, tell the truth. Are you always doing little white lies because you're afraid of offending somebody? Well, this time, tell the truth. Don't be mean. Just tell the truth. Maybe the truth is simply that when somebody asks you to come out to go to coffee or whatever, you just don't want to go, and just say, sorry, I'm just not feeling up to it today. I don't feel like it. I don't feel like company. That's telling the truth. I say it all the time, right? Stacy, my producer, I say it all the time. I just don't want to talk to anyone today. Update your bio. There's a little step. Update your bio. Don't keep your bio on LinkedIn saying that you still are senior manager somewhere when you're not, because that's not who you are anymore. And the longer you hold on to it, the harder it is to change. Okay. Show your actual personality. Have you ever done this? I remember going for a job interview that I really wasn't interested in going back to corporate. And I told them everything that I did on the side. So I'm a feng shui master. I'm a yoga practitioner. I'm a meditation teacher, all the woo-woo sciences. And I was trying to get them to not hire me, right? I was showing them my actual personality, but in fact, they thought that was better. They actually thought, this is great. I can see everything that there is about you. So think about showing your actual personality, right? Another tiny step could be not fixing someone else's chaos. How many of us do that, right? Are you the person that fixes everyone, right? Anyone has a problem, they come to you. It's usually your family, your children, or your parents. So for once, just say, you know what? Why don't you let someone else fix it, right? And let's think about a little step. Try to choose your desire over your duty for a change, right? Because we all get saddled with, I have to do this, I have to do that. And then you let everything that you wanted to do go along the wayside. So micro moves, those little tiny micro moves, they are what equals identity rewiring, right? So that was step 3. That was the experimentation, right? So you've done it, you made some little micro moves. So now you need to go to 4, which is confirmation. Someone responds differently. They treat you with more respect, or they push back, which tells you you're onto something, right? Either way, this confirms that you are shifting. When you hear that, if somebody says, you know, what's going on here? You always come out. Or if they say, wow, that sounds like that's great that you're going to try something new, that will confirm that you are shifting. So it's a really great sign that you're moving in the right direction. And then the 5th and final one is integrating it. You've had the confirmation. So now you're like, okay, you wake up one day and you realize this is who I am now. It's not a costume. It's not a performance. It's not a role. It's who you are. It is yourself. And that is your rebrand. And that's what we're getting to. And it's not as easy as listing it down, because I know a lot of you are listening today and you're like, I know that I'm done with the old persona, but I don't know what I'm going to be. And that's where TLMA is coming in to help you. So I want you to continue to listen to make sure that you understand, because the rebrand moves are very simple. They're very sharp and they're non-negotiable, right? So move number 1 is when you decide, if you've decided to do something a little differently, or you want to be known as something else, even though you're not 100% sure, I want you to do that profile rebrand, right? So I want you to change one line publicly to reflect who you are becoming. Remember, I said becoming, not necessarily who you are or who you're going to be, but who you are becoming. So maybe on your LinkedIn, you change from senior executive to, if you want to do consulting, or if you say, I am a marathon runner, whatever you want to say. But that's number 1. One line to change something in your profile somewhere, right? And it might just be how you introduce yourself. Move 2 could be a boundary rebrand, right? So again, say no to something that your past self would say yes to, right? So think about that. If everyone always came to you for advice on something that had to do with what you were doing for a living, you might just say, you know what, I don't do that anymore. So I can recommend someone to you. And I remember that happened with one of our financial advisors. He had said he doesn't do it. He retired and he didn't want to give anybody advice anymore. So he recommended somebody else, which is a great way to really remove yourself from that persona that you were holding on to, right? And then number 3 is make it visible, right? Tell one person that you say, I'm shifting, I'm making changes. Small, visible truths really reshape identity faster than anything else. Once you say it out loud and you say it to somebody, all of a sudden it becomes real, because they will hold you accountable. Next time they see you, they'll say, hey, how's this coming? So I want you to think about something that over the last year, you didn't waste this year. You spent this year really gathering evidence that your old identity is complete and there's nothing wrong with you. You're not behind, you're not late, you're not stuck. You're simply at the edge of your second act. And the question is no longer, can I change? The question is, am I willing to stop performing the version of me that no longer exists? Because this second act isn't a dream. It's a decision that I absolutely want you to make today. So if this episode woke something up in you, good, because you need grounding and clarity, and maybe you need a weekly ritual that supports who you are becoming. I'd love to send an invitation to you. Join the Sunday morning club. That's where we regulate, we reflect, we rebuild your identity piece by piece so that you're becoming someone who actually has a place to land. We do a little bit of journaling, meditation, a little bit of breath work. It's all on Sunday mornings at 7 a.m. It's a sundaymorning.club. Is that correct? Yes, I'm just checking with my producer. And or you can go to my site, faychapple.com. You'll find it there. On LinkedIn, we go live and we stream on LinkedIn, Instagram, I don't know, wherever our producer sends it into the world. But it's a really great way for you to just start thinking about yourself. And you don't have to worry. You don't have to get up at 7 a.m. on Sundays. You can go ahead and watch the replay on YouTube. So again, thank you for joining us this week. I think it's really, really important to acknowledge to yourself that you've been listening to every episode, which means that you are ready to change. You are ready to start something new and exciting. And in just a few weeks, we're going to have a challenge for you to do. And then for those of you who are going to be joining us in the Inner Circle in January, when we reopen our membership, we'll be having a challenge every single month. So it'll be giving you momentum to keep up the change and do something unique and special for you. So again, I'm Fay Chapple. This is Too Late My Ass. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you again next week. Thanks for listening to Too Late My Ass. If this episode made you feel seen or heard or a little more ready to take your damn life back, then go ahead and hit that follow button. If you want to go deeper, grab your free comeback kit at toolatemyass.com and join the Act 2 Insiders list for weekly tools, community, and reminders that your story is far from over. Remember, you're not done. You're just getting started. Too Late My Ass, produced by the City Media Group.